Alrighty, hi everyone. So it is Drea again. And so the video I am doing today, I do actually have makeup on. It is my very lightest amount of makeup I do. It's just my foundation, a little bit of highlight, and a little bit of bronzer, and a really light lipstick just to lighten and color up my lips a little bit more. But so why I decided to do a video with makeup on again, is really simple. So I had a couple people in the last week and a half that have kind of come at me and said some really rude, arrogant shit. So, and the funny thing is they were transgender. So I had one of these girls come at me and they were like, are you sure you're transgender? I think you might be more androgynous. And I was like, excuse me? And they're like, well, I've noticed you just don't put on a whole lot of makeup and you don't dress super girly all the time. And I'm like, okay, so I'm really confused right now. Why would you ever come at someone and say something like that? Like, first off, no girl has to wear makeup. Secondly, there are so many different kinds of females out there that just because I have some days where I don't get all dolled up and have my tits out and wear dresses and heels does not mean I'm not transgender. It means I am comfortable in my own fucking body. So anyway, she continued to come at me and I was like, okay, I'm just done with this conversation, because this is just getting petty and this is getting stupid. I don't know what your malfunction is, but my transition is my transition. I am happy with myself. I don't have to go out full-faced anymore and feel uncomfortable. And, yes, sure, I still have a 5 o'clock shadow here and there. And yes, I still get gendered wrongly, but I do get gendered correctly. And my comfort is more important than anything, really. If I'm content with going out without makeup, who gives a fuck? I don't really, it doesn't compute with me why it would be such an issue that someone that is transgender doesn't wear makeup or a lot of makeup or go out without makeup. It's like, okay, every single female there is has walked out of their house at some point in their life without any makeup, with wearing baggy clothes, with not being in dresses and heels. I don't get it. There's so many different types of girls. Just walk down the street and no girl you see is really all that much alike in their style and their dress. I mean, there'll be groups that kind of dress similar, but even at the same time, they like different colors, so they have different color schemes. They like different shoes, so they have different shoes. So there's just vast majority of girls that are just completely different, and for someone to come at someone because they are transgender and they are transgender themselves and not understand that is just appalling to me, because it's like, okay, I understand back when I first started transitioning, yes, I wore makeup all the time. I would not leave the house without my full face, and I dressed really girly, and I'd have all these different, and now I'm just so comfortable with where I'm at my transition because I know it's not going to go any faster, and I'm not going to go out of my way to spend an extra 15 minutes a day trying to get ready sometimes. And if I'm going out to hang out with some friends and I have a cute outfit on and I snap a picture of it, even if it's a sweatpants, who cares? It's a picture that I feel cute in, and it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And she's like, okay, whatever, and so then I had other trans girls come and talk to me, message me, and were like, hey, it's not normal for trans girls not to wear makeup, blah, blah, blah. It's not normal, and they threw all these things at me, and I'm like, okay, when did becoming transgender have this rule guideline? When did this come out? Was I dead? Was I just being born? Was Like, when did this guidelines come out to what makes me transgender and what doesn't? So like it continued on, and I was like, look, like, you girls need to stop. Like, this is just petty. And I like tried to explain to them, like, I'm so comfortable with who I am. Like, I don't need to go out of my way to be a certain way. I don't need to go out of my way to do my hair, do my makeup, do my eyebrow. Like, all of these things that girls have to do. And it's like, I'm so tired of people putting all this stigma on what it is to be transgender and all of this shit that comes with it, because it's like, oh, like, if you're not doing one thing, someone's pissed off, and if you're not doing the other, someone's like, oh, well, you're too blah. Like, so it's this vicious cycle, and it's not even a lot of people on the outside of the trans community. It's the people inside the trans community that are so stuck on certain things that it just bothers me. And it's just like, for me, it's just like, you should know better. You should know that we get enough shit from straight people, straight males, Christians, blah, 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 etc., from pretty much everybody, that I don't fucking need it from someone that is transgender and going through the same shit as me. Just because my transition is different than somebody else's does not mean that I'm any less transgender. It just means I am different from somebody else. Oh my God. Who would have thought that people are different? No way. Anyways, so like it's just been this huge frustrating thing for me, because it's like, look, like, there are thousands of different transgender girls out there, thousands of transgender males out there, and every fucking single one of them look different. And the ones that look very similar are ones that have had the same surgeries, have done all of these things to cosmetically look like that. And just because you don't fall into that suit does not make you any less transgender. And that's what literally makes me livid. I've had girls talk to me and they're like, oh, like, are you getting your breasts done? And I'm like, probably not. And they lose their shit. And they're like, well, why wouldn't you get your breasts done? Like, you're a female. And I'm like, yes, I'm a female that's deciding not to get her breasts done. And who knows, 10 years from now, I might want my boobs done. But as of right now, that is not my priority. I'm not going to spend $10,000 to get my boobs done when that is a huge thing that can go to my bottom surgery. Like, I'm sorry that my number one priority in life right now is getting my bottom surgery. And I am not going to get my boobs done until everything's said and done with. And that's how it is, and that's how it's going to be. And I don't care. And, and then it's just been this huge vicious circle that's just been so frustrating for me. And, what's one of the other ones? The boobs one is the main one. Like, when I say I'm not getting my tits done, they're like, oh, how could you not get your boobs done? And I'm like, because I don't want them done. I don't want these massive boobs. Like, my thing is, like, for me, I think huge boobs, and done by certain doctors, there's very few that make your boobs look normal. And when you are built differently, and when you have certain things done, it just draws attention to yourself. And like, I would rather have attention drawn to me for being a little bit more flat chested than having these huge tits, because then they're like, oh, those are fake tits, so what else? Like, it's just like, I personally just do not like fake boobs, but I do not judge anybody for getting them done, because I understand why they do it. But I have always been okay with having small boobs. Like, I don't want to be more than a C, and if I don't get to like a higher B or a C, I will probably get breast implants to a C, just to have that little bit more. But I ain't going to no double D. I'm not going to no triple D. And that's what blows my mind, is like, people have these opinions on what you have to do in your transition and what you have to do to make you beautiful in your transition. And they don't understand that that starts a vicious cycle, because no matter what you do, you're not going to be okay with your body. You're not going to be okay with where you're at in your transition. And so at some point, you have to understand that learning to love who you are, regardless of what your boobs look like, all of those things, like that is part of your transition. And, you know, there's going to be times when you get your surgery and you're a little bit more happy. But after that, like, look at all of these really famous trans girls. They have gone on and continue to get surgeries and continue to get surgeries, continue to get their breasts redone, and all of these different things, because at some point they're still not happy with who they are. And it doesn't come down to, oh, I need bigger boobs, oh, I need a reduction, oh, I need, like, it doesn't come down to that. It comes down to mentally they do not love who they are. And for someone to have to do that to be considered transgender, it's not okay. Because we get enough shit from other people that I don't need other people telling me how to transition and what I need to do in my transition and all of these things. And I don't go at anybody saying, oh, well, I don't like boob jobs, you shouldn't get to boob jobs. Like, I say, you know, more power to you. If that's what you want, you get that done. Because at the end of the fucking day, the only person you have to live with is fucking you. So if you are not happy with something, fucking change it. If you are not happy with anything, like, do something about it. But do not ever come at somebody else that is comfortable in their own skin and try and make them uncomfortable, or try to make them feel bad for not doing something that you do. Like, for me, I do not like to get full-faced anymore. And it is simply because I've become so confident in who I am that I don't care if I walk out and have a little bit of a 5 o'clock fucking shadow and a little bit of stubble. Like, it does not matter to me. And for someone to come at me and tell me that that is what makes me more androgynous is bullshit. Because you know what? Like, right now I do not have the money to afford electrolysis, as many trans girls don't. So I should not have to wear makeup every fucking day that I go out in everyday life to appease somebody else. End of the story. Like, that is that is the bottom line. I should never have to appease anybody else in my transition, except for myself. Because myself, like, I have done so much for myself. I've done so much for my health. I've done so much for my soul by coming out as transgender and being who I am and starting to love who I am. For someone to come in and try and veer me away from what I am and how I view myself is just appalling. So anyways, that's my little rant about this whole thing. Like, if you are transgender and you don't want certain things, like, that doesn't make you any less transgender, you know? If you, it's, so many people put such a stigma on being what it is to be transgender, and there's like this rule book or like this guideline book of what you have to do in order to be this pretty trans girl. And here's the thing, so I'm gonna show you my body yet again. Like, you've seen my body 100,000 times, but seriously, so like, this is my body. Like, there is nothing really bad about it, you know? Like, there's my boobs. They're small, but they're there, you know? I push them up, and that's what they look like pushed up. So, for someone to come at me and try and tell me how to transition, it's just wrong. So, the whole point of this video is to make people understand it's okay to transition differently than other people. You don't have to transition like somebody else. You don't have to do all of the surgeries just to be transgender. And I mean, that is a part of it. You know, if that's what you want to do, then you do that. You figure out how to do that and live with it and get everything that you want in life done. But if that's not who you are and you are transitioning differently than somebody else and they have any audacity to come at you like that, shoot that down and do not let that get to you, because this is your body, this is your transition, and this is your life. It does not matter what anybody else says at the end of the day. Like, if you don't want to go out and wear makeup, don't do it. If you don't want to get your boobs done, don't do it. If you don't want to get facial reconstruction surgery, don't do it. And it's as simple as that. So, as I said, like, I preach to be who you are and love who you are, and I stand by that. Don't forget to post in the videos, post comments about videos you want me to do, or if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I love new followers. I do a lot of kind of different videos that a lot of people, I feel like, don't do, because I've watched so many of these videos and I've still had all of these different questions on, like, how this happens, like how you do, like, and so I've had all of these questions that have never gotten answered in any video because, well, sometimes people don't want to talk about certain things, and I am breaking that cycle, and I'm trying to get you videos that are fun and crazy and have a different angle to them. So, alrighty guys, be who you are and love who you are. Peace and love.